Hey guys, it's Neon for Clownfish TV, and it looks like the comic book industry has started to realize that it needs to go outside of comic book shops to find new customers. The other day, DC Comics announced that they would be doing giant 100-page comic book anthologies, and they'll be distributing them in Walmarts all over the country, so actual normal people can get a hold of comic books again in a very convenient location, which is fantastic news. Well, you think it's fantastic news. We're gonna talk a little bit about this initiative, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the reactions to it. Now, you know, as a longtime comic book reader, comic book fan, I started reading comic books when I was a kid, and I used to buy all my comic books at the corner drugstore. That's where I bought my comic books. Convenience stores, drugstores, bookstores. I never set foot in a comic book shop until about 1990. I didn't even know comic book shops existed until I was a teenager. So to see DC Comics going back to trying to get comics into the hands of everyday folks at a place that they probably go to multiple times per week, Walmart, is great. This is great. So what they're doing is they're going to have these 100-page giant comics. Now, this is coming from the DC Comics blog, and they're going to start with 4 titles. But here's the thing that is awesome about this. We're talking 100 pages of comics that will be new and previously published material for $4.99. That's $1 more than the average 24 to 32 page comic book costs in the direct market. In today's economy, $4.99 for 100 pages of comics is a bargain. It is a bargain. So the first 4 titles that will be available will be Superman. And I like this. I mean, this kind of reminds me of Shonen Jump in Japan, where they have these thick, well, in Japan, there are these like giant, like telephone book-sized comics, but everybody reads them. Everybody buys them. You can buy it everywhere. In America, to find comic books, you have to seek out a specialty store. They're dwindling in numbers because they're closing so rapidly because the comic book industry is just utterly destroyed at this point. But this is a good initiative. This is a really good thing. So we've got Superman #1 available on July 1st. We've got Teen Titans. I really like that cover. That's pretty cool. We've got a 100-page giant Batman featuring Harley Quinn with art by Jim Lee. And we've got Justice League. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Batman #1 is probably going to be their highest selling title. Just a theory. But let's read more from DC Comics blog about what they're planning. Now, this first came to my attention because Jimmy Palmiotti retweeted it, or he tweeted it earlier in the week. I really didn't have time to do a video on it. I was busy doing other things, but I'm really excited about this. Here's the official press release from DC. This summer, Walmart shoppers will receive a personal invitation to discover the lore behind their favorite DC experiences, as DC Entertainment announced today that a series of giant monthly comics will be sold exclusively in more than 3,000 participating Walmart stores around the country. Available for $4.99. $4.99. Each 100-page anthology features all new stories written exclusively for these books by some of DC's top creative talents, including Tom King, Dan Jurgens, Michael Bendis, Andy Kubert, and others. Each title will also include additional story arcs drawn from fan-favorite DC eras, such as New 52, Rebirth, and the New Age of DC Heroes. So it's a combination of new material and reprints. Each of these 4 titles, Superman Giant, Justice League of America Giant, Batman Giant, and Teen Titans Giant, will arrive in stores by July 1st. Beginning in August, the Superman and Justice League titles will arrive in week 1 of each month, with the second pair, Batman and Teen Titans, arriving approximately 2 weeks later. So, you know, this is a really good thing. This is how you mainstream comics. This is how you get comics back in the hands of regular people and turn them into comic book readers. Like I said, this is how I started reading comics. I went to the drugstore, I went to the convenience store, I went to the bookstore at the mall and bought comic books. I did not go to the comic book shop until later. Now, I did become a customer at my local comic shops after I was already hooked on comics, because I could buy them anywhere and at a reasonable price. When I first started buying comics, they were like 75 cents or something. And now they're ridiculous. $4 for 32 pages is absolutely ridiculous. $4.99 for 100 pages, that's pretty reasonable. So you would think that you really, if you really wanted to see the comic book industry survive, that you would be on board with this evolution, this like common sense approach to getting comic books into the hands of everyday people. Now here, this is not the case though, because, you know, the comic book industry being the comic book industry, just, it's never that simple. So Jimmy Palmiotti, who's involved in these books, tweeted this. He got, you know, a lot of likes, a lot of retweets, and we're going through the comments, and hey, what's this? Rich Johnston from Bleeding Cool, who's not real happy about DC doing this. Why do you feel it needs the exclusive content? That's what seems to annoy most comic retailers I've spoken to. Isn't that taking existing customers and creator time and talent out of the comic shop? Because it's totally not true. I'm enjoying Superman, blah, 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 blah. Basically, the idea here is that Johnson's saying that some of the comic book retailers are upset that this has exclusive material that you can't buy anywhere else. And I guess I can kind of see their point, but it's also like, look, this is sort of the gateway. Like, if they're buying the comic at Walmart and this is their introduction to comic, chances are they're not going to the comic shop anyway. I think DC is trying to create more comic shop patrons by releasing these books at a reasonable price in a distribution channel that everybody participates in. Everybody goes to Walmart. I mean, everybody goes to Walmart. I mean, this is just such a common sense thing to do. And I understand them being upset maybe that it has original material, but, you know, Walmart has exclusive pop vinyls. Walmart has exclusive DVD releases. Walmart has, I mean, this is just sort of the way it works with Walmart. And the bigger takeaway from this, I think, is that, you know, DC seems to get it, that the comic shop, the direct market, is not going to last, not in its current form. And it's very unfortunate. I mean, I love comic shops. I love that vibe. But, I mean, let's face it, comic shops are getting harder and harder to find. They're going out of business. It's a very flawed business model. It's a monopoly with Diamond. And, you know, most people aren't going to seek out a comic shop. If you want to sell more comic books, you have to meet people where they're at. And, you know, it's just the way it is. They go to Walmart. Everybody goes to Walmart. So, I think it's a good initiative. I understand some people having concerns if they're a shop owner. I don't think it's going to take their customer away from them, because their customers are their customers. They're not going to ditch the local comic shop for, you know, 20 pages of new material at Walmart. I mean, that's not going to replace the comic shop experience. Now, long term though, this might be DC's plan, is to basically just be like, we know the direct market is crumbling. We need to build an escape pod, and, you know, going back to the mainstream, going back to Walmart, going to Amazon, going to these, you know, major distribution channels. That's how we're going to save our own necks. I think this is called Plan B. I guess I think the writing is on the wall, unfortunately, that the comic book industry has been completely decimated at this point. And I don't think the direct market is ever really going to recover. So that's just my thought on it. I'm completely on board with this. I think it's a really good idea. I think you're going to actually cultivate a lot of new readers, a lot of younger readers who wouldn't ever venture out to a comic book shop. And if they get hooked on these characters, these stories through Walmart, then chances are they may make their way to the local comic shop if they can find one. If they can't find one, at least they've got this, right? So there's that. All right, guys, so subscribe to Clownfish TV for more pop culture rants and news, as well as animation, gaming videos, all that sort of thing. We haven't been posting a lot lately. My day job is actually a travel blogger. I travel often, so there may be weeks sometimes where I don't have a lot of videos. Make sure that you subscribe to get the notifications so you know when we do upload. Thanks for watching.